Swift Justice.
Tonight on Swift Justice, the hunt for a blood-crazed maniac. A maniac responsible for the deaths of 3 teenagers 2 weeks ago today and the further murders of 2 police officers just 5 days ago. Good evening and welcome to this special live edition of Swift Justice. Tonight we hope to crack the case of a brutal murderer who has shattered a community and shocked a nation. Later in the show, an interview with the sole survivor of one of the bloodiest nights in British criminal history. CCTV footage of the suspect from that very night. We talked to Detective Sergeant Brandon McLean, who was present at what is now being called the Parkway Massacre. Co-host Terry Coen tonight talks to locals at the Whitley Bay crime scene.
Hi Jason, here I am in Whitley Bay. Good stuff coming up for you. Speak to you later.
And in what is surely a first in television history, we announce live on air the results of a DNA analysis of the killer's blood. So far, the only physical clue he has left behind in his trail of mutilation. As ever, you, the viewers, can help. But tonight, we'll be trying something a little different. You can call our hotline, and as this is a live show, we'll be taking your calls on the air.
Swift Justice.
But first, our story begins 2 weeks ago tonight at Whitley Bay. 2 weeks ago tonight, when an innocent night of fun for 4 young people with their whole lives in front of them turned into a night of unparalleled barbarity. This is Sarah Girdler's account of that awful night.
We were celebrating getting our exam results. Jenny got straight A's. She was going to Oxford or Cambridge, someplace good. Her boyfriend Rich was planning on moving there with her. They hated being apart. We were just having a good time. We weren't bothering anyone. That was the good thing about the bay. No one really goes there. It's nice and private.
You suck. Cheers. Anyway, I've got to go and drain the lizard, so I'll be back in a minute. Yeah, no, I've got to feel my way down.
You're not back in 5?
A little bit,
Yeah. Lunchtime is beer, probably.
You ready? I don't know.
It's been quite a long time, hasn't he?
Oh, it ain't been that long.
I'll be alright.
Don't worry about it, he's a bit bored now.
Yeah.
So, what do you want for dinner tonight?
I don't know, quite fancy pizza actually.
If they hurry up though, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm starving over it.
When the bloody hell are they doing?
Well, I don't know. You should know. You talk to her like
Oh,
I do.
thanks.
She's your mate.
What?
Right.
She's not like that.
Hi, Rich. Hey, dude. Rich? Let's go, let's go, let's go.
It took us a few moments to realise that it wasn't Rich.
We've got to go. Get up, go, come on, let's go. Let's go. Ah!
I'll never forget what happened to me that night. That mask. That face.
Jenny Carpenter, Richard Marshall, Tim Landis. 3 teenagers who had their lives prematurely ended by this monstrous maniac. At the very least, they were spared the horrific assault endured by Sarah Girdler that night. Were you in the vicinity of Whitley Bay that night? If not, do you know someone who was? Has a friend or family member been behaving strangely since that night? Bloodstained clothes or bloodstained conscience? If so, call our justice line.
Swift Justice.
By a remarkable coincidence, that night, a remote Coast Guard camera was operating on that very beach. Originally set up to capture images of migrating mock turtles, it captured something altogether more incredible. Is this the image of a killer? Shocking stuff. Now it's time for a quick word with our man on the scene, Terry Coen. Terry, what can you tell us?
So Jason, I've been talking with some locals here in Whitley Bay, and it turns out that these are not the only murders to have taken place around here. I'm here with Trevor Hess, a local man, and he has some rather fascinating stories to tell. Trevor?
Well, I'm not sure I can tell you that much, but I've lived down here for about 40 years. When I first moved here, people were very reticent to talk about it, but it turns out that there was an ex-wartime pilot. Yeah, he was badly injured in the war, very badly burnt on his face. He had to wear a face mask, in fact. He worked as a tailor locally, and apparently it played on his mind so much one day he just completely flipped and went out and allegedly killed some people. I don't know what happened to him. He disappeared, but rumour has it he ended up in the sea. This is a very popular place for suicide, you know what I mean?
That is absolutely fascinating. So as you can see, there's a lot more to this story than meets the eye. Back to you in the studio.
Some interesting revelations, Terry. Good work. We'll talk to you later in the show. And I'm being told we're taking a lot of calls, but keep them coming in. Next tonight, we have an interview with a very brave girl indeed. Whitley Bay survivor Sarah Girdler, who asked to appear on the show tonight. Sarah, thanks for coming on the show. What is it you'd like to tell us?
What people need to understand. What people need to know. This thing, it's a monster.
I think I know what you mean. In my years on the force, I saw the very worst of what one man can do to another.
It's not a man.
Pardon?
It's not a man. It's a monster. A real life monster. It's not human.
Quite right. Only a monster would assault a woman in your delicate condition and leave a child fatherless.
Tim isn't the father.
Tim Landis?
I wasn't pregnant before that night.
You mean...
It's a monster.
2 weeks?
I can feel it. Feel it moving. Inside me.
Well, thank you, Sarah, for that very brave interview, a very brave girl indeed. Now our second reconstruction, Detective Sergeant Brandon McLean's account of the Parkway Massacre. What just happened? Tell me, what just happened?